Welcome to Bluegrass Home and Garden TV. Bluegrass Home and Garden TV is brought to you by Jimmy Nash Homes, Comfort Heating and Air, Springhouse Gardens, Back Construction, Dinger's Hearth Patio and Grill, Buyer's Paradise Furniture, and by The Studio. Join us now for Bluegrass Home and Garden TV with Amber Canoy.
Hey, I'm here with Richard Weber over at Springhouse Gardens, and fall is here, and boy did it come in fast.
It did.
I know.
It's nice that we got some nice rain and some cooler temperatures.
I bet these plants are loving, especially after that dry spell we had. But getting ready for fall, mums are always a must.
Yeah, nothing says autumn quite like a mum or pansies, and we'll be talking about those and how to get those established. Most people don't realize that mums, even though they are hardy, a lot of times people don't plant them in the ground, they leave them in the pots. And if you leave a mum in a pot all fall and into the winter and you don't plant it in the ground, it's not going to come back. It's not that hardy.
Right.
If you get these in the ground nice and early, that's going to improve the chances of them coming back next year. But the way that our people's thought processes have changed these days, they want instant gratification. So if you plant a mum, you don't want to wait till next fall for it. So usually people just kind of toss them. They use them like annuals. Even though a lot of them will come back.
And I find that if you plant them closer to the house or under kind of eaves,
it kind of protects them.
Yeah, they do even better. I've got one of my friends, it seems like I can't get rid of because it just keeps coming back.
They are pretty tough if they get into a spot that they like. And one of the things to try to get them to overwinter, put them in the ground early, plant them as early as you can, and then leave the stems up all winter and kind of mulch around them. Don't cut them off at the ground and leave them bare, but leave the stems and put some pine needles or some leaves or something around them.
Kind of insulate them.
Insulate them.
All right.
Yep.
Now, one thing I do want to point out, because we've got some mums here in various stages. We've got one that is a full bloom, kind of partial, and just budding out. Now,
that's a good point. Let's do a little mum primer.
Okay.
If you're going to a party this weekend, you probably want to pick the one that has lots of color. But that's only going to last maybe a week or two.
Okay.
If you're looking for something that's going to be looking really good 2 or 3 weeks down the line, look for ones that are just starting to show color, so you know what the color is, but where the majority of the flowers are tied in bud. Those are going to be blooming for 4 and 5 weeks long. And ones like this where you don't even see the color, those are going to last the longest. So it just kind of depends on when your party is or when your events are. But once they get bloomed out like this, you're really only going to have maybe 3 more weeks of color on something like that. And then, it's not going to be the showiest that you might want.
right, and I know at some points, if these start budding out too early in the summer, you're supposed to
pinch them back.
Pinch them off. But how long once you pinch them off to actually get to the blooms?
I think it usually takes about 5 or 6 weeks to pinch it and then for the buds to be produced again. I could be wrong on that.
I think that sounds right.
I
think that's what I've been told. Yeah. We're running out of time, unfortunately. We're going to talk about pansies here in a second, but in the meantime, if people want to check out your website,
go to springhousegardens.com, find us on Facebook, or call us at 224-1417.